Hello, hello, hello. This is Jemmy with Flintstone Media with the 10th episode of the Curve the Cube podcast. This is the final podcast in the second series. Curve the Cube is a South Florida-based entertainment, media, and arts and podcast. Kind of inspiring you to live outside the cubicle and pursue your passions and your dreams. And on this episode, we have featured Amir Arison, who plays Aram on the Blacklist. Amir is phenomenal. I've known him since high school, and it's been really awesome to watch his career progress through shows like SVU, Law Order SVU, Girls, and now he's on the Blacklist, amongst many other things that he's done on stage, on sets, on screen. He's phenomenal and a really, really sweet guy. We had a great time recording this and reminiscing a little bit, and really some pretty noisy snacks in the beginning, but that's only because he was gracious enough as my guest to bring me snacks for the podcast, because he is that awesome. So Amir Arison currently lives in New York, filming The Blacklist, but he is a South Florida guy. So enjoy this, the 10th episode of Curve the Cube with Amir Arison. I mean, I must say I left with a little bit of a crust, really. Bye-bye. Curve the Cube will now initiate.
I know who's behind the Sony hack. Get it exclusive here. The Sony hack, 2014. Oh wait, you're recording? Oh,
Darn it! Oh no!
That's funny.
Look at you. You brought snacks and everything.
Yeah, but I know that's gonna make noise on the.
Oh, that's okay.
Hold on, I want better lighting.
You realize this isn't on video.
Yes, I know, but you can see me and I can see you.
How are you?
Hold on.
How was your trip down and everything?
That's too weird. That's like too intimate.
No, if it was like candlelight with, that type, quote unquote, type of music playing in the background, then it would be weird.
Which is better? Tell me which is better. Which feels more cool?
Other way.
This, right?
Yeah.
That's cool, right?
I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. What's that from Dumb and Dumber? Right?
I just saw part 2.
Was it good? I heard it was good. Was it good? You liked it?
I did like it.
I barely even remember the first one. You did. You were brave.
Aaron Everett and Todd Harrell.
Shut up.
Yeah,
oh my god.
That's my voice.
What
Should we tell your podcast that we went to high school together?
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's go for it. You tell them. It was your privilege to go to high school with me.
Oh! I'm your older. I was a senior when you were a junior. It was your privilege to go with me.
This is true.
But it was my privilege to go with your brother.
There you go. It all. What is it? Shit rolls downhill.
So you have some chips and pita chips and some things. Help yourself. I'm gonna eat some.
Awesome. So when did you actually get downtown? Like Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday? You got here?
I can't remember. Monday night, late Monday night.
Yeah.
I got in late Monday night.
How was the flight and everything?
It was cool, it's packed, but
Are you still? Cool. Are you filming right now? You're not, right? You guys are.
I wrapped on Friday. I wrapped an episode on Friday, but they're still filming that episode, which they're going to pick up again in January 4.
So let me tell you, I have been feverishly catching up with The Blacklist because I was watching, but then I got kind of distracted with life and whatever, and I'm like, oh crap, I watched the rest of season 1. I'm like, no! And so I went to watch, and I caught it
before today.
Right, and so I was catching up on Netflix.
Season 2's not on Netflix. Season 1's on Netflix.
Right, I know, and I'm really upset. And so I went to On Demand, and On Demand only has episodes 4 and on. So I missed the first 3 episodes of season 2. And I'm like, I know I've already missed some really good stuff.
You missed a good nugget. The introduction of my character and Samar's character.
Well, okay, so no, I did see.
When I first met her, when I was all like,
oh no.
Episode 3 is when my character meets her. It's fun. It's
okay.
fun. It was fun.
Yeah, because she was just there. So I just thought, okay. So have you ever had a romantic development between you and a character before? Because I see that being teased with you guys.
Yeah, it's being teased on this show.
Yeah.
I don't think it was originally intended, but then there was a good response from it. After episode 5, there was a good response for it. But I've had it on other shows.
Yeah.
But Blacklist is not really about romance.
It's not, but there's that undertone with a lot of the characters.
That's who's the boss? As soon as Tony Danza and Angela get together, the show's over. You always got to have a little tension.
I think the only show that pulled that off was Office. The one that's like the Office. The Office is the only one that kind of pulled it off, where they were together.
Oh, Pam
for a couple
and
years. Yeah,
Pam and Jim.
Right, they're still together for.
That's true. And they were like, there was. I didn't actually watch the whole series, but there was tension, and then they got together.
Oh yeah.
They got together, and then they break up, and
no, they ended up getting married.
But didn't she marry? Wasn't she dating?
She was almost going to marry someone
else. I know.
And then.
But I will say though that they're not the leads. Steve Carell was the lead.
That's true.
So, I guess it's in some ways.
That's
so
true.
the Blacklist is about Red and Liz,
right,
and Blacklisters. So
right.
we're series regular characters, but we're supporting we're supporting players. So. I think our romance is not a priority for the show, but it's fun.
But I think
it's fun to have on the side.
Pursue it because I saw it. I'm like, that's getting a little interesting. Okay, she took his hand in the hospital. All right.
That hospital scene had such a great response. That was the end of episode 5.
Yeah.
And I remember when we saw that in the script, it's a non-verbal scene, so it's actually just takes up a little bit of the page.
Right.
And it's a non-verbal scene. I was like, oh, and everyone was all like excited. Oh, Aram's gonna get or so forth. And she was like, but my character wouldn't like you. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, your character likes me, but my character doesn't like you.
Okay.
And I was like, and she's like, because everyone's saying like, oh, Aram's gonna get a girlfriend. Aram's gonna get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So she called the creators. And they're like, yeah, no, you're more interested in like a Reddington type character, like a bad boy, an older bad boy. You probably think Aram is like and I was like, all right, it's a long season,
You gotta work it out.
You'll see. Step back, girl. You'll see. It's so, and then even the writers have been like, wait a second, after that scene, because it was a scene where I was playing like she was saved, and I was concerned for her well-being, and I got the antidote to save them.
Right.
But because it was
that really bad plague.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the episode The Front, I think because it somehow it played like I don't know. It played more romantic than anyone ever intended to. I was just like happy for her well-being, and she was like, "Thank you for saving my life."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it was like hearts and stars and hearts and stars, and now I've seen since then
into one another.
They're writing to it now a little bit, just a little bit.
It's working. It doesn't feel forced. Because I think a lot of times when you have characters, especially minority characters, as soon as you get another character of the opposite sex of the same minority, it's like they automatically want to write those two as a couple.
I know.
But this one actually, it's working.
Nice.
It's very subtle.
Thank you.
Very subtle.
And there's a lot. I would say there's Mojana's become a good friend of mine, and she comes from the theater, so our brains sort of think similarly.
Yeah.
And on a TV series, things aren't set. They're flowing. They're changing. Things are working. They're not working. This storyline can kind of go down a rabbit hole. This character, people are really responding to, so they make more of it.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of lobby on behalf of your character. You want to fight. You're the only you want to fight for your characters.
You have that much influence?
It's unspoken. But yeah, sometimes. You can call the creators and be like, don't remember I've done this, or this would be inconsistent, or last week this.
Okay, I see.
Because they're worrying about a million things. They're very good. They have people in the room who are specifically, there's a guy in the writer's room who specifically writes like my scenes and deals with my stuff.
And knows your character inside out.
Totally. It's amazing when I get that. I was like, wow, that's exactly like what Aram would have done. What I would have done. Like, wow.
Right. Isn't it weird? Like, as an actor, because you're constantly, I've noticed you do it a couple times already, where you say I. When you're talking about Aram.
I have, really?
Oh, yeah, you totally do it. But I imagine all actors probably do that, right?
That's funny.
You've done it a lot.
Tonight? On this, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
At least 3 or 4 times.
I don't know. Maybe I guess when I get into the I don't know. That's funny.
Yeah.
When I get into the story of it, I guess it becomes first person.
Do you get fully absorbed into what you're doing? What's your method of acting?
It depends on the role.
Yeah.
Depends on the role and the project.
Yeah. I know you've done stage and stuff before.
Mm-hmm. It really like TV goes so fast.
Yeah.
TV, you're just like, can I get the script? Can I get the whole script? And you're just like fighting for any morsel of information you can, for any clues to build like a fully fleshed out person.
Right.
And then, you want to get it as soon as you can, so you can do as much research as you can.
Right.
That's necessary. You want to do as much as you can beforehand. I've been teaching a little bit at high school.
Are you?
Just a little bit. I just started. I really like it.
Where?
In New York at a place called Broadway Workshop.
Okay.
Like teaching theater kids some on-camera technique, because I come from the theater. And,
right.
And I tell it to all my friends and to everyone, preparation. preparation is your best
Ooh,
friend.
That's a perfect lead-in for one of my questions, which is, how much did you practice that one line in the scene with James Spader where you're like,
That's really messed up.
yes!
It's funny that you say, people even ask me, because I improvise a little. People ask me if I improvise that line. No, that was written. That's just well written. They know the character and the actor and the character and the writer are all kind of like intersecting. It's funny, I didn't.
No?
I was just responding to him.
It was great.
It was a good line. It was
I was imagining
well filmed.
You, like,
I don't know.
Okay, because I was imagining you
in
like
the
on
mirror,
set.
being like, "That's really
yes,
messed up.
Yes,
It's really
like
messed
saying
up.
it like a million different
Is that really
ways.
messed up?" All you got to do is like look at James Spader looking at you, threatening you with your life in a dead calm way,
right, with a gun,
and you just comes out. Yeah, like the best acting is when it's thoughtless. That's the reason why I would like preparation. You want to prepare all of that so your lines and your character thoughts are truly unconscious, and you're flowing and you respond. So then you can literally just respond and live in the moment to what's happening, the situation and how it is. That's actually how you can have fun. And and then you go places, and if you're really prepared, the more secure you are. Because a set's an insecure place. It's like things change and so forth. The more solid you are with your foundation, and all of a sudden they're having you do scene. You thought you were sitting, then you're having you standing. They're having you walking. They're adding a prop. Suddenly Spader's he wants to change this line, and then the director has an idea about this line. All
constantly on your toes.
Constantly. So you have to, if you have a good foundation.
Yeah.
Once you like know that, this is getting a little esoteric, but once you get to know the essence of your character, the truth can come out in a lot of different ways. But you have to, once you're like in line with your character, then I could have said that's really messed up anyway. Right. And it would have been true.
Amir can say it all kinds of ways, so I imagine a character can say it all kinds of ways too.
That's right, totally.
Yeah.
Well.
What is the challenge? Because I noticed you've played roles that have been, techie nerds, right? You've also played doctors.
Who are you calling a nerd?
Oh, myself. I'm
just kidding. I'm kidding.
So
geek to
it's
geek.
A compliment.
What's up?
How you doing? So, what is the extra layer like of adding in all the like verbiage that you need? All the technological. Damn, here we go, messing it up right here.
Yeah, no. all the techno speak.
All the words.
It's funny, I get asked that a lot, and people like compliment that a lot, and that doesn't
throw you.
That's just part of the character. Yeah. Some characters are the silent type. Some characters are technologically verbose. I did Law Order SVU for a few years. Yeah. As a doctor.
Dr. Gupta and then Dr. You played two different doctors.
That's right. Very good. You did your research.
A little bit.
Dr. Manning was my main doctor.
Thank you. Of course, I couldn't remember the name.
My first appearance on SVU is very good. It was less ethnic, Dr. Manning.
Well, you know what's funny? So this is how I knew, because I remember you doing like plays and stuff in high school. Mm-hmm. And then I was sitting at my desk. This was a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And I used to do some consulting work from home. And I was sitting at my desk doing some work, and I almost always had SVU playing in the background, like on Constant Marathon.
You sent me a message, I think, on Facebook or something.
Did I?
Something.
I think I did. Yeah, because, I kind of glanced at the credits, and I saw your name, and I'm like, oh, that's so funny. I went to school with Amir Arison. And I went right back to, doing what I was doing. And then sometime later, I heard your voice, and I was like, wait a minute. I turned around, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Amir. I was so proud.
Oh, thank you. You mean for a second you thought there was another Amir Arison?
I just couldn't imagine,
if he does exist, let's go kick his butt. There's only room for one right now.
That's right. That's right.
That's funny.
What was your first big project for your first big break?
It's so funny, there's like so many that I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing. This is so exciting. So I don't really, I think more in terms of like journey and growth than break. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think like, oh, now you've made it, or that's a state of mind of you committing your life to a journey, to an art, to a craft. So, there are breakthroughs I had in acting classes. There are breakthroughs I had with people. There's great. There are some projects that like things changed, and I had more access and more doors opened. And there's a number.
Probably SVU, was that one of them?
Well, SVU for me, I always say SVU was like my graduate school in television acting.
Oh, okay.
Because of what you asked before, I had all that technical dialogue to learn.
Yeah.
And I had to deliver all that technical dialogue standing opposite two huge stars and walk and talk and move props. And
be wary of like where the cameras and everything is, right?
Yeah, but because Dr. Manning was like, I was the ER, I was always just dealing with like, these are serious patient issues, but I wasn't part of like heavy storytelling like in Blacklist or in like other projects. My job was, every episode was the same, was like, I've got to deliver some tough news, you know, personalize it as much as I can, but be a doctor and, you know, as a doctor has to, you know, be professional so he doesn't doesn't over personalize. So I got so practiced in walking and talking and where the camera is and dealing with big personalities and move this, go here. Just living in that environment actually, I would say was a big growth, a big sort of
learning curve.
Big learning curve for on television, for on camera acting. But in terms of like I don't know. Specifically, I did a play called Omnium Gatherum in 2003, which really kickstarted a lot of stuff in New York. I remember when I was on Homeland, I got responses, you know, because that show suddenly did so well.
Sorry, but your resume is just ridiculous. Like, go ahead. Just
but you know, it feels like 2020. There's a lot of shows I've done that people don't care about. I was really proud of a pilot I did that nobody saw called Insecurity. There was a show called 0 Hour that I worked my butt off. I never thought about that. Yes. I remember getting that and thinking like my life had changed and like couldn't believe. And then when that pilot didn't get picked up, it was probably one of the greatest lessons of my life. And suddenly I had to go right back to, and it was a very interesting, I had booked the pilot, so I thought that had taken me to sort of a next place in my career.
Yeah.
And it did on some level, but not nearly as much as one would think. I feel that kind of way about anything. Like, it's like you get to like the playoffs and you get to game 7 and you lose. You don't, you have to go back to the beginning and do a preseason, a whole season, a playoffs. You have to go through all those obstacles to get to that moment again.
To try again. Yeah.
So I always kind of have a philosophy of like, if you have an audition or an opportunity on a set to do what you've dreamed of and love of, do not take it for granted. Prepare, cherish it, enjoy it. That's something I always have to remind myself. Don't forget to enjoy yourself.
Right.
You're doing what you always wanted to do.
Well, it sounds like you prepare a lot so you can enjoy and be in the moment.
You're listening.
I try.
Yes. That's right.
You just got really doughy-eyed.
That's right.
You're like, aw.
You're getting me. This interview is completing me. I'm messing with you. I'm gonna eat a carrot.
So silly. Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
So, excuse us while we eat carrots. So, what was your favorite project in high school that you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
Because I can literally vividly remember you on stage.
Can I turn this around? Can I ask you, what do you remember from high school?
I remember you being in a scene. I don't know if it wasn't Guys and Dolls. Did you do Guys?
I did do Guys and Dolls, but I was a freshman. I was a freshman. I was Lieutenant Brannigan. So
you were in like a suit of some sort. And I just remember you dancing on stage. And I don't think there were a whole lot of other people, or maybe you just were that good that I didn't notice anybody else. But I remember you dancing on stage and taking your hat off at some point. And I just remember being like, because, you know, sometimes you just notice people, you know? And because my brother was on stage a lot too, and people used to say the same things about him. And I just remember I was like, wow, this kid's going somewhere.
That's amazing. That's so sweet to hear.
Yeah. So
I think that I was Lieutenant Brannigan in Guys and Dolls, which was really exciting at the time because I was a freshman who was given a speaking part. I remember when Tad Harrington handed me I was little at the end of class. He was like, Amir. I was like, yeah. He goes, and he handed me the script and he goes, Brannigan. And I literally thought my world exploded.
When did you know you wanted to do this stuff?
I did a play in the 3rd grade, and I had just like 2 lines. And afterwards, my mom came up to me. You just met my mom. The interview. You guys just met my mom too.
She's so cute.
And she's like, "You have talent."
Aww.
And I was not good at sports, so I joined drama club. I joined drama club
in 3rd grade.
Yeah, Mrs. Feldman's drama club.
Oh.
Mrs. Feldman, who I'm still in touch with. She's still like sends me stuff, and we keep in touch. And she watches Blacklist and asks about my character. It's like the sweetest thing.
What's it like now? Fast forwarding however many years. What's it like now? Do you get recognized and stuff? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that like?
Bizarre. You can't give anything to that. I mean, it's really just, it's more like fun if I'm like with like my dad, like, or something, or like someone I grew up with.
Right.
Like I was with my mom, my sister, and my dad, and we were walking my niece, my sister's baby, and my dad was visiting New York, and they were like, people wanted to talk to me. They're like, we love the show, and da-da-da-da, and talking. And my dad's like, do you know them? I was like, no. He's like, you mean they just recognized you? That's fun. That's like
that
sweet.
Would be cool.
That's sweet. But it's that aspect of it is I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah, you get a lot of fan love. I've noticed on Twitter a lot of. I've noticed a couple of projects with people with like someone did one of those jib jab videos or something of you and all the other characters. Yeah, and I think it was like a Christmas one.
Oh yeah, those are funny. Oh, they always do those. Those are funny.
Yeah.
If whatever can help me get more access and more decision in my career, and at the same time I want to continue to grow, that's really what matters. And I'm very protective of my family and my, even though I'm like in the public eye as a career, and I'm a sort of friendly, gregarious, people say, person. Your privacy is very important. It's very important as an actor too, because you gotta hold on to your secrets and your mystery, so you can surprise the audience.
Right.
Frank Langella once said, "I never want to know too much about an actor, so they can surprise me on screen."
Right.
Because then if I know too much about the actor, I start watching the actor and not the performance.
It's true. Or you start thinking that the character is the person when you start.
And specifically, it happens a lot on television too. Yeah. Which is, I'm grateful, because Aram is close to me, so that people conflate me and him.
Yeah. How are you guys the same?
Well, this role, unlike most roles, I feel like I helped create, as opposed to like I auditioned for. When I auditioned for it, it wasn't much. I did a little like improvisation in my first episode, Wu Jing, which was the third episode of season 1. And they kept it. I didn't think they'd keep it.
Which was the improv part?
It was episode Wu Jing. It was funny. I was... That was actually a stroke of timing and everything, too. The director of that episode, Michael Watkins, then became the producing director, because they were looking for a new producing director. And he could shoot really fast, and they liked what they were getting, and come in on time and fast. And they were getting high performance and delivery on the action, on the acting.
Yeah.
And he had seen me in other things, and from my audition, he was like, "Oh, you're great. He's like, you're better than this stuff. Say whatever you want. Make it better. Say it in your own voice."
No kidding.
And he goes, and I told him the character was originally called Morgan Hackett. He's
your character?
Yeah, before it in the breakdown when they were auditioning. Yeah, well, they were looking at all ethnicities. I mean, I saw like black guys, white guys, Asian guys, Middle Eastern guys, Indian guys. It was. Everyone was in that room for that part. It was like all types, sort of like geekier, not so geeky. It was like a whole range. And he's like, and I told the writers they should keep you around. They're lucky to get somebody like, he was so nice. They should keep you around, and I told them they should make him just like you, and we should call him Amir.
No kidding.
So they called him Aram.
Wow.
So Aram is 4 letters, sounds like Amir, Aram. It's like similar. It's Middle Eastern. So
in fact, three of the 4 letters are exactly the same.
Yeah, the character was kind of born from this original idea, and then what I did. And so when he said that, I was encouraged. I was just coming off of Girls, so I was feeling super improvisational and fun. And this job wasn't that much. And I was like, the only reason I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a computer guy, is if I'm going to have fun. I'm just going to have fun. Otherwise, there's like, they can get anybody. It's like, you can get anybody to be like, "Sir, I've located them. Sir, they're over there." That doesn't make it unique. That doesn't make it. Now, I would never recommend to young actors try to make a meal out of something. I wasn't trying to make a meal out of it. I was just like, I've got to enjoy this. If I'm going to enjoy this, I'm going to do something with this part that I haven't done before.
Yeah.
I'm going to have.
It sounds like you were coming off of a really creative bend with Girls anyway.
Yeah, I was. It was a nice time. I was also directing a play then, and I had just come back from France. It was like it's an incredible month. I also booked a movie. It was like this miraculous month where I felt really open and I wasn't attached to anything. And then all these wonderful sort of things are still in my life as a result.
What's the movie?
I did a movie called Jane Wants a Boyfriend, which is, I think they're trying to sell it to get it into the festival circuit right now. It's with about a girl with autism. Who wants to date. It is very sweet. And her older sister, that's played by Louisa Krause. She's like this awesome theater and indie darling actress. Is a friend of mine who I had worked with before. I had directed her actually a reading.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And her older sister is played by Eliza Dushku.
Love her.
Eliza Dushku. Yes, people love Eliza. And her
she was in a movie a long time ago.
True Lies.
No. Older than that, because she was only maybe 10 or 11 in this movie. And I can't think of the name of the actress who played across from her, but it was an older actress who played like almost kind of like her babysitter, sort of babysitting neighbor. And it was set in like the 50s or 60s. A really good movie. As soon as I remember it, I'll let you know.
Which one?
It's a really good movie.
I'm gonna IMDb now if you want.
Her. Yeah.
I played Eliza's husband in that movie.
No way.
And then another guy, Gabe Ebert, who just won a Tony, played my best friend, and so we were the four principals in the movie. And he wants to date her, and Eliza's character is really.
Sorry.
What even does that denote? That
sound? That was my mom just texted me.
You have a specific mom text sound?
No. That's my text for everybody. I haven't gotten into like specific tones for people.
I met your parents so long ago.
A long time ago.
Would you say hello?
Yeah.
I remember meeting
my brother says hello, by the way.
Yeah, you have to say hello back, too.
Yeah, I just dropped my son off. My brother's in town, and he's staying with them. So I just dropped my son off, and they're like...
With Uncle Jerry?
Yep.
I feel like we should tell your podcast listeners...
Go for it.
...that me and Jerry were in a Dance Etc.
Dance Etc.
He handpicked me to be his co-dancer. After literally,
maybe
he
that's
combed
what I'm
through.
Thinking of then.
Jerry combed through the high school and was like, Amir, you're the only one that can keep up. I swear.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
And it's true. It was like, and we did a hip hop dance.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
When he was a senior and I was a sophomore.
That is so funny.
I wish there was a video of that somewhere.
You know,
does he have one?
There has to be somewhere. There's so much of that 15. Stuff that like.
I was 15. Oh my God, I would love to see that.
There's so much of the stuff that I wish I could do. Like all the bar and bat mitzvahs and all that stuff. Like,
are you in touch with your Pinecrest friends?
A few. I've fallen out with, not fallen out like in a bad way, but just
lost touch a little bit?
Yeah, with most everybody.
They're my best friends.
That's awesome.
Pinecrest. The most friends I have, I'm keeping in touch with. I'm in touch with like teachers.
Yeah.
Pinecrest is like Pinecrest was South Florida. Pinecrest was huge in like.
Do you remember a girl named Caridad Perry or Pete Perry? Mm-hmm. Remember them?
Peter Perry.
I'm friends with them. Yeah.
They're Jerry.
They're a year above Jerry.
Yeah, Peter Perry and Caridad. Yeah, they've been high school sweethearts since they were like in the 6th grade or something.
Yeah.
I remember they were together always.
Yeah, they're still together. Have a son.
Yeah,
they're great. I was just at their house not that long ago. I'm trying to remember this. Oh, Jane has a boyfriend. I'm looking up Eliza Dushku on IMDb for anybody who's wondering what the heck is going on this podcast.
We did that. That was fun. My mom came to visit New York while I was doing that and Blacklist last year at the same time. It was really,
how does that work? Doing multiple projects at the same time.
That was, I don't know. I kind of get off on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a giant puzzle piece, and it's like.
Is it hard if you're playing two different characters at the same time though? Because you got to get in and out of those.
You know, the only time that messed me up once was in the same day.
Yeah.
For me, it's not necessarily hard. It depends on what. Like, if you're doing a play, and it's an exhausting play, it's kind of hard to maybe shoot something else intensely that you're in all day and then come in.
Because a play is that's like at least a 3 or 4 hour commitment every day, right?
Yeah, it depends on the show, but yeah. The only time once, it was a long time ago, I remember I was doing a reading. I had a rehearsal all day, and then I had a reading at night.
Yeah.
And there were 2 different accents. And I remember I had the first time I sat down, and the play that we were reading, I had workshopped a bunch.
Yeah.
And for the first half hour, I came right in, sat down, and we were getting in. The first half hour, I was like, what? I don't know what's happening. I can't. The voice, and I literally had the remnants of the other character was still living in me. It was
On
weird.
you.
It was like...
That's so weird.
And I had to like... That scared me, actually. I remember that. I was like, why can't I...
Did it mess with your brain?
I just learned that, like... I was like... Either still working that other part out or something, or... there are times where you play multiple parts in one show and so forth, and then that becomes part of the muscle. It can be quite fun doing 2 different or 3 different things. I like doing different characters.
Which is... I can't find it. I don't know. I'll have to look it up later. But which is...
Eliza, we'll look up 10-year-old Eliza later.
Yeah, thank you. What do you like better between like movies and television and those kind of sets or versus plays and stage acting?
I like it all.
Yeah.
And for different reasons. I like to keep being challenged. I like doing different stuff. I love movies. I love TV shows. I love plays. I love Shakespeare. I even like a musical. I like comedies. I like dramas.
Yeah.
I like a good story.
What are you a big fan of? Like, what can you sit down and watch a marathon of, TV-wise?
Yeah, cable TV.
Yeah.
Good cable shows. There's some network shows. I'm on a network show. Please binge watch Blacklist.
Which moves from Sundays to Thursdays following the Super Bowl.
From Mondays to Thursdays.
That's exactly what I said.
Very good. Well, there's no more Mondays anyway, so...
That's true.
Doesn't matter. Sundays if you want.
Whatever.
I get asked... I've been asked that. I think it's good to switch mediums.
Yeah.
So then you can appreciate the other. You know?
Do you just really like, it just sounds like you're an actor who really just likes the art of acting.
I do, although yeah.
The craft of it?
Yeah, I also like directing.
Yeah.
I want to do more of that.
Is that how you see your career evolving into more director?
We'll see how it goes. It's hard to control, you have to have sort of like guideposts and goals, but it's hard to control exactly how your career is going to go. You just have to have ideas and visions and move forward towards them, and be willing to go in different. I didn't know I'd be on a big drama. I always thought I'd be on a sitcom, but I get to be a kind of a funny character on a drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to anticipate these things. I do know that. Being a regular on Blacklist now, so I can't do as many other jobs because they own my schedule for like basically ostensibly almost 10 months of the year.
You found out like a few episodes in that you were becoming a regular, right? I think I saw you tweet something like,
no, that was
now a regular on the show.
It was announced between the seasons.
Okay.
So I had recurred in season 1, and then season 2, I was rec. But I knew I wasn't allowed to say anything. I knew a little bit before the end of the season. I had known that it was like coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Like 2/3 of the way through for season 1. And I remember when I got that call.
What was that call like?
I cried.
Yeah.
I cried.
Oh, where were you?
I was in Brooklyn subletting because it was I was recurring, so I wasn't a regular, so there was no guarantee. I didn't know, even though my character looked like I was going to be around a while, there was still no guarantee. I was still getting hired episode to episode. So then I would book other jobs and then be like, but we still need him for Blacklist. So then I would run around and do that movie, and I would do that. And I was technically living in LA, so I was subletting, and then I was on a couch, and then and then it was pilot season, so it was such a hard year.
Yeah.
I remember people were like, "Oh wow, you're doing so well." Like on the outside, it looked like things are going great. I'm on this new hit show, but I was like, I had no social life that year. I was working my butt off,
right?
And I was also really trying to. I was really motivated to book other things. It was kind of a weird thing. It was a weird time. I was motivated to book other things because I wanted to find out if Blacklist was going to put a ring on it or not.
Right.
Because if I booked something else and it became unavailable, that would force their hand to be like, "Will let me go," or they'll say, "No, we want to keep him." So. Ironically enough, but that's not. But I learned something. That's not the way. I never thought like that before. That's not a good way to audition. That's not creative.
What's the best way to audition?
You can't audition in order to like convince somebody else of something. You have to give into that role and that project. But then, so once I realized that, I was like, this is not who I am. I have to just do what's in front of me. So, but when I did what's in front of me, it also was hard because I was like, my heart. Right. And my so much of the days I've been spent in the last year have been on this one set. Yeah. It feels like I'm cheating.
Right.
I don't want to fully be. It was very hard, but professionally I had to. So you had to kind of separate professionalism from mind and from heart. And it was tricky. It was a tricky time. And funny enough, I did all that. I had booked some things, but nothing that would force their hand. Because I was in New York, so I didn't get a pilot that year. And then the call just came anyway.
Yeah.
So who knows, karma or whatever, how it. But it was like my manager called and she goes, she left a message, and I was like, sleeping in, and I was like, heard the message from her, and I just listened to it. I was in a sublet in Park Slope, and I listened to it, and it said, "Hi, it's nothing confirmed yet, but Sony has just called to request your quotes. So that doesn't mean anything yet. It's nothing a confirmation."
What does that mean? Request your quotes.
What that meant was they're beginning a process of making me a regular. That was step one of we're going to make him a regular, and I knew what that meant. It was many months later till it was all decided and done.
Right.
But when I heard that, it was like, ugh.
Really?
Yeah, I cried.
Yeah.
It was like I was like asleep. I was just like tears, put the phone down, and then went back into a deep rest.
Because it seems like being an actor is there's such a dance between like one opportunity, another opportunity, and just trying to find those things and hustle and get it done. Like that, I can imagine that's so stressful, being unpredictable and.
Yeah, I always say you want to. There's so many variables at all
makes it
times.
worth it
I
for
feel like
you?
there's so many variables as an artist.
Yeah.
As any kind of artist.
Yeah, that's true.
Any kind of artist where you're be held to, if you're a painter, or being someone purchasing your things,
Right.
or a dancer, and
Right.
being in a company, or certainly for writers and directors is a similar thing. You need to be hired, and you're hired, and you're not hired, and there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
So you want to, when I saw that, you want to put as much structure as you can into your life, and you want to make sure you surround yourself with people who are good.
Yeah. What were the
people.
kind of
The best thing that happened in my career is I was born into this family. I had the best family in the world. Yeah, there's like love and support, and that's number one.
Tell me more about your family.
Well, you just met my mom.
Yeah.
And my dad. My sister. We're a small family, but we're good. Now my sister has a husband. I have a new brother who's the best, and a new niece who is the total best.
And where do they live?
They live in New York, but now they're in Palm Beach for the winter.
Okay. Are you guys close to each other in New York?
Yeah. I moved around the corner so I could be near my niece.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because if you live in Brooklyn and she lives, she's sort of like between Harlem and Washington Heights. It's a new area called Hamilton Heights. And that's like 2 hours commute. And with New York and with traffic and everything, I wouldn't, in New York, unless you're a few blocks away or in the same neighborhood, you don't see people for months.
Right.
So I moved around the corner.
Yeah.
So Blacklist was a blessing because I was living in LA, so it brought me back to New York, and I got to be near my niece. I see her every weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's cutie, Lila. No, but I really
Lila?
Lila's her name.
Aww.
But my mom says the five. She always preached like the 5 F's: family, friends, finance, fitness, faith. And I believe acting and a life in the arts can sort of falls under sort of like faith and belief, and so you want to keep those things in balance in order to.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like you can't like live for your acting career, or you can't live for your art, because then you're not. Then what are you feeding your art? You have to have a life. You have to do other things.
What else do you do?
Funny enough, all I do is act. No, just kidding. Just acting. Well, I've been teaching. I'm like, you have to read. You have to sometimes play drums. I play sports.
You play drums?
Just for myself. I learned it. Funny enough, I learned it from a part, but then I liked it. Travel. You got to keep yourself well-rounded. You want to make sure you're friends with people in other industries. One good thing about New York is, you have museums and you have
lots of culture.
Other things. Right now, I'm trying to, understand more about, finance and stocks and stuff and so forth. You got to, or otherwise, what do you bring? What do you bring to your work? And if you're not a human.
Where's your favorite place that you've been traveling wise?
Oh.
Have you been all over Europe?
Yeah, my favorite place. My favorite place, I think Greece. I was just like that, I went to a wedding there, a friend's wedding there a few years ago. And then I went to some of the islands, and it was like, oh my God.
I've heard Greece
looks
has
heaven on earth.
a different island, each island has its own personality.
Yeah, I want to go back. There's so much more to do. What else is my favorite? I don't know.
Yeah, Greece is.
I know I'm lucky to live in New York, but I don't like living in New York.
Yeah.
I'm a South Florida boy. I need weather and low buildings and.
Do you go to the beach?
In New York?
No. When you get down here, when you come.
Yeah, look, my parents' condo is on the beach.
That's true.
But so I do. But if it wasn't on the beach, I probably wouldn't go. Look, I've been down here for how many days, and I've only gone once.
Only once?
Yeah. It's been cloudy.
It's perfect. I just don't know. Today was awful.
I know.
It was really, really rough rain getting
It's
up
the rainy
here.
season.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So I've been dying to ask you
Oh, God.
about this one scene.
Oh, God. I know what you're going to ask.
Of course you do.
American Horror Story.
Yes.
About Chomp Chomp.
Yes.
knew
Your
it.
Bobbit moment.
I knew it. How did I know? How did I know? Just the way
Everybody intros it the same way. All right. I had to ask you about this scene.
No, I actually haven't been asked about that. I just knew by the way you were, just the way your face was. Okay, so do you want to set that up?
Okay, so yeah. So you had a scene, you played a role in American Horror Story of this, was you a financier? What were you again? Or like
a real estate developer.
Real estate.
Joe Eskandarian.
Right. Which I thought was an awesome name, by the way. But yeah.
He was Armenian.
Yeah. And your demise started between your legs.
Can you believe they could do that? They did that on television?
I was like, I had one of these reactions watching it, like, no.
It's unbelievable, right?
Oh my gosh.
So that show
Yes.
was
One of my favorites.
It was a trip to get. I mean, that show, look, it's the same thing. Blacklist, that show, and Homeland
Yeah.
hadn't come out yet when I booked them. So
Really?
they were just jobs. But then those shows did really well, that they really were good for the career, and there was a lot more visibility as a result of them.
Wait a minute.
But like American Horror Story, that was season 1. I was in
Okay.
episode
Yeah,
7,
yeah.
and the show was premiering while we were shooting that episode. Like I had already been hired before it came out.
Oh.
Homeland, I was in the 2nd and 3rd episode, so the show was picked up, but it hadn't aired yet.
Mm-hmm.
And Blacklist, I was in. My first episode was Wu Jing, the 3rd episode of season 1. Also, the show hadn't. So those were all like. People were like, "Yeah, awesome resume," but I was like, "That's truly luck and timing."
Mm-hmm.
I did a bunch of shows that also didn't. So you just. I always tell people, just do what you love, and like some things people will see, some people won't. You'll never know what little role that you didn't think anything of would turn into something, and sometimes you book a huge role and nobody sees it, nobody cares. So you have to just figure it out. But sorry, I'm off track.
Well, no. I was just going to ask if you knew going into that role on American Horror Story how it was going to end.
Well, I knew Jessica Lange was on that show.
Oh, that's all you
and I knew that show was buzzy. It was industry buzzy.
Yeah.
So it was
amazing.
When I went to that audition, there was a lot of people there. And it was like, when I got that, I was like, really? I actually couldn't believe I got it. The audition was like 2 minutes, and I was like, whatever. There was so many guys there. And I called them, like, yeah, you got it. You're going. I was like, what? I was like,
It was only like a 2-minute long audition?
No, I had 2 scenes, but they were fast. No adjustments. It was like, come on in. Thank you. Prepare.
Wow.
You don't know. And like, you can get intimidated or worried about the other stuff. My mom, when I was younger, was like, don't look left, don't look right. Just look what you have to do.
Yeah. Wow.
You're in competition with no one except yourself. Can you do better than you did last time? Did you not do as well as you could have? Can you get to that point? It has nothing to do with the other people. And I literally want nothing but everyone else to do well too.
That's true.
I wish them, but nothing but, because these are going to be your scene partners, your friends, the people who understand what you're going through. These are your allies.
Is I
don't believe in
scene
competitive. Some people act like that, but after being in this for a while, the people who are like that kind of go away.
Right.
It's the people who have brotherhood.
Is it kind of
that
like a
keep
fraternity?
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of personalities in this industry, but you find that the cool people, the talented and cool people, move ahead. I find it's hard. It's a hard business in all aspects. There's no perfect formula. Everybody has to find what works for them. You have to know yourself, know how you come across, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and work on them.
Has your mind been completely blown yet by working across from another particular actor?
So, does his name rhyme with Shmaim Shmader?
Well, I didn't want to feed you an answer.
But there have been a few people that has been pretty exciting to work with, specifically Jessica Lange from Horror Story.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I got us off topic. Did you?
It's okay.
American Horror Story.
You can go in whatever direction you want. It's your podcast.
It's your podcast. It's your world. I'm just living in it.
You're welcome anytime.
It's your cube. We're in your cube. We're just curving the corners.
Oh, you're so cute.
I really like the title of your podcast.
Thank you.
Curving the Cube.
Thank you very
Getting
much.
out of the cubicle.
That's right. Break free.
What made you start it?
Well, ironically enough, I was sitting in my cubicle at work, and, you know, after college, I went down a very specific path, and it wasn't really what I was supposed to do. And so I've been figuring out what that supposed to do thing was, and, you know, I've had a lot of ideas, a lot of things that I've gotten involved in, and one day I was just sitting in my cubicle, and I've learned a lot just randomly talking to people about how they pursue their passions and their dreams, and it just hit me one day, like, why don't I make this so other people can hear it? You know, how can I spread this word?
Were you a podcast listener?
I was, and I listened to the Nerdist podcast.
I don't know what that is.
You know Chris Hardwick?
Oh, right, yeah.
So he hosts it, and I'm a huge fan. And so I was like, yeah, why don't I just start doing a podcast? I looked into what it takes, and it's super easy. So I'll start doing a podcast. I'll interview a bunch of people. I'll make it South Florida based to start it off, and
Connects you to people that inspire you, that you like.
Yeah.
Connects you to your dream.
I mean, it's funny because I've realized that it was just a very small idea at first, but I'm realizing how many offshoots it's developed.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to do something to start seeing the other possibilities.
Right.
It's really true. You do something, and then there's nothing better than doing something.
Yeah. Well, what's cool is it's reconnecting me with a lot of people. It's also made it so that, you know, in these conversations, like I think I sent you the one with Andrea, and, you know, we're sitting there talking, and we're like, it just becomes obvious that maybe we can do something, a project together at some point, or, you know, and all these things end up happening. Or, you know, my friend Victoria was telling me the other day that she was listening to a podcast, Houston Guns podcast, and was like, yeah, it was really inspirational, and da-da-da. So it's really neat to see.
Well, it's
like,
funny when you asked me, because I want to, like, do stuff with Pinecrest and reconnect from South Florida. This is my hometown.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
And I was so excited you said yes.
I'd love to.
I wasn't kidding when I said I started crying.
Shut up.
I really did. I really did. Well, you gave me the perfect answer. Because you didn't just say yes. You also were like, oh, I really believe in your message. And I was like, oh.
Following your dreams.
Yeah.
Getting out of the cube.
Yeah.
I preach it all the time.
Good.
We have one life.
Yes.
What are you going to do with it? I mean, unless you believe in reincarnation. And you have many lives. But each one you're given, you should follow your dreams.
Right. Live it to fullest. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to spread the word a little bit.
Really cool.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we talk about blowjob deaths.
Okay. Yes, please.
Remembering. Sorry.
So tell me your top 5 ways of going out. Is that the best way ever?
Well.
Dang, blowjob death.
Well, it was strangled. Dennis O'Hare, the burn
was
man,
strangled.
Larry the burn man,
Yeah.
was suffocating me with a bag over my
Right.
head while I was being Lorena Bobbitt.
Wait, so you died from the strangulation, not from the loss of blood.
Pick your poison.
Okay.
At the same time,
I went with the loss of blood in my own head.
But I couldn't. My character couldn't. Like you, I think you die quicker from
Probably
asphyxiation, or you pass out. I think I was passed out maybe, and then he bled to death. I don't know. I didn't live to see that part. Pun intended. This is what's funny about that. When I got it, and then I had they weren't releasing the whole script, so we started filming, and we didn't even have the end of the script. They were keeping it top secret. They had ideas, and we didn't know. So we had started shooting.
When you say the end of the script of that, because you were in more than one episode.
No, it's actually just the one episode. Just the one.
Really? It wasn't 2 or 3.
Okay. American Horror Story was just 1.
Oh, for some reason I thought it was 2 or 3. Okay. Please continue.
It's hard on production. I know, but Blacklist, American Horror Story, like shows that have action shows and horror shows. There's a lot of shots. It's more than usual, more than just a regular drama, more than say an SVU or any sort of traditional dramas. So there's a lot more to get done in the 8 allotted days that is usually allotted for a drama television show.
Yeah.
So sometimes you shoot based on location. So if there's a bunch of locations in one location, like if we have to shoot at the doorway of the house, they'll set up all the shots at the doorway of the house.
Yeah.
So then we shoot them, and then all of a sudden the script comes in. There's more script that comes in, and it's like there's 2 more scenes at the doorway. They have to go back and shoot in that doorway. That can mess up a whole schedule. So there was like this sort of like excitement, tension, and we haven't gotten the rest of the script. And we had like the first half of the script, and then we got the second half, and they're like, "You got a scene with Jessica Lange." And I was like, "What?" That was very, 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 very exciting.
Gosh.
And then the next day or the next couple days, we were on set, and we got the remainder of the script, and I heard a scream like, "Oh, what?" You like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" Wait till you get to page 7. I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, oh, and then everyone was like, "Oh my!" And then I was reading. I was like, "Can they do that? What channel is this show on? This is not a rated X channel. Like this is.
I know.
Is FX is where you can do anything?
Right.
Like, my God. So I was like,
the Twisted Sister Cinemax.
That's how I found out. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh.
Cinemax's Twisted Sister.
For real, it really is.
Although I don't even think they can show. I think they can show more nudity.
They can show more nudity on Cinemax, but I feel like
the nature of the stuff on FX is much more
crazy,
violent, much more,
way crazier, more disturbed, for sure.
We can do much more things with cable. Well, we can go further.
What's been your favorite set to be on?
Look, I love my job on the Blacklist. I love that set. It's a family, and it's what I've always wanted.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah.
But like on like a totally creative level, on a purely creative level, I might have to say girls.
Yeah?
Because TV shows go so fast, and I did another. I also did a show called State of Georgia, an ABC Family sitcom a few years ago.
That sounds familiar.
It was with Raven Simone.
Okay.
That was really fun too. It might be that I just like being on comedies, and being on a comedy set just makes me happy.
Yeah.
But Girls was, particularly relaxed, particularly fun, like and loose. I also was a fan of the show, so I was kind of like geeked out just being there.
What's that like to be a fan of the show and then walk onto the set?
It's cool. It's trippy. It's cool. It's cool as heck.
That's so awesome.
I remember going on, like, I had my fitting, and then there was like, "Oh, do you want to come meet Lena?" and so forth. And she's like, "Oh my God. I can't believe you're here.
She said that?
You flew in from LA. We're so lucky to have you."
She said that to you.
I was like, "Thank you, Lena, for hiring me." "No, thank you. Oh my God.
gosh.
Are you okay? Do you need anything? You're so funny." I was like,
wow.
Holy crap.
Wow.
I know.
So you like comedy over drama, typically?
I like them both. I like them both. I like them both. I'm more exposed in drama, so I want to do more comedy so I don't get stuck in drama for the rest of my career. Okay. So I want to, I did a ton of comedy in Pinecrest.
Right.
A ton of, I was in Comedy Sports down here.
Comedy Sports, no.
I was in an improv group down in Florida called Comedy Sports.
No way.
I was in high school, and I made
did
a video.
Summer of improv.
You did? Where?
At the Quillo Theater in West Palm. It was just this, I don't remember the name of the company anymore. It was so long ago, but it was just a summer internship where you took classes every Saturday for it, and then you helped out with the shows and everything. And then at the end of the summer, we did a show. It was fun.
What summer? In college? After?
Gosh, this must have been
beginning.
2004, maybe.
You were getting the inkling to curve the cube.
I think I was.
You're like, I need to step out.
I was.
And improv.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is not quite it.
Yeah.
The Aquila is not quite for me.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there.
Figuring it out.
Listening to Chris Hardwick.
I don't think he was doing podcasts yet.
Finding my way.
Right.
Watching Talking Dead. What were you doing?
It wasn't even a show yet.
I don't know. I'm making up your narrative as I go along.
Thank you. I think I like yours better than mine.
No. It's good, man. Dude, doing stuff and it not working is the best. It's the only way you can know.
Really?
Yeah. Going on a bad audition, as horrible as that feels, and as much as you think that sets you back, actually can be.
Do you still get nervous, either for auditions or on set? Like, what makes you nervous?
Sure.
What makes you nervous?
When you don't get nervous, that's when you have to get worried. Those butterflies, they that's some sort of like sixth sense. They're telling you that you have to,
Right.
I don't know, something big is happening, and
Right.
you have to like, it sends you into hyper focus.
Right.
I don't know. It's almost like when you're driving. If like something makes you nervous, get hyper alert.
Right.
It's like the same
That's
thing.
true.
It's some sort of like adrenaline focusing thing.
Even though, then if you get in an accident, you're more likely to die.
Terrible.
Apparently, drunk people survive accidents left and right because they don't tense up. Have you heard this? Because they don't tense up when there's an accident, they tend to survive.
They're super relaxed. So somebody told me when she was hit by a car literally hit her, and she relaxed and thought about her yoga.
No kidding. In that moment,
she saw the moment was happening. There was nothing she could do. Instead of doing this, she just like released.
And she's okay.
She had been doing yoga. She didn't break a single bone.
What?
Because she like flopped around. And nothing was tight.
Right.
Oh, no.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't be able to do that. That's not me.
Heck no. I would have been thinking,
Oh my God. That won't be me because I'm not going to get anywhere near a situation like that. Hyper nervous about that stuff. But yeah, I think like you have to go down rabbit holes and stuff like.
Yeah.
To know what kind of work you like, what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know what to ask for and not to ask for. You know, and they say pick your battles, pick the moments that you fight for, the things you need to fight for. Knowing what, and then one of the great benefits of being on a show now for multiple episodes is I can see how they edit it.
Yeah.
And I see what comes across and how it cuts across. So I remember what we shot, what was on the page, how we shot it, and then how it was cut. So things that I worried about. Oh, we only did a take of that. That could have gone so much better. Like we're moving on, and then you see it's cut, and I was like, oh, that actually looks fine.
Is there an art to? Is there an art that comes into however you act? Will the editor might put in more shots of you, or is there an art to figuring out how to get an editor to include more face time for you on screen?
That's an interesting question. Like, is there a way to kind of manipulate the editing into your favor?
Right.
That's a very interesting question. I heard a story about how Ryan Gosling in this movie called Fracture. I think it's called Fracture. It's a movie with Anthony Hopkins.
So,
He kept moving during a take, and the continuity person. Do you know what continuity is? It's a script supervisor.
They're the one who makes sure the tie is in on the left, and
exactly.
Top of the left shoulder,
and you're holding the coffee cup and the right thing, and this, and you had the pen, and you leaned back on that line for the master, and
that's one of my favorite things to notice about a show is when
there are mistakes. It takes you out of it.
Yeah,
it takes you out of the first and fourth wall. It's true. It can be. That's another thing that they don't. I mean, they don't teach you in acting class is how to work your continuity. So when they shoot a master, all of a sudden, like I remember shooting this in the Visitor. It was like one of the first bigger movies I had done. I had done a scene, and I was like, okay, that felt good. And then we started moving in, and she's like, remember, you have to lean back on that line. I was like, I did? I don't remember doing that. Wait, what? You mean I'm now married?
No, you have to do it.
I'm married to that choice.
Time. Yeah.
So I like to come into, because I come from theater, I like to do my own stand-in work sometimes. Well, the stand-in, they'll be like that, but I'll come like 5 minutes before they call the other actors so I can get used to my props, my set, create the reality, and rehearse. And the camera guys are like, oh, great, we got the first team. We're like, okay, Amir, are you doing that? Or are you doing this? I'm like, figuring it out. Hold on. So that when they start filming, I feel like free and confident in those choices. And I don't feel like, no part of my brain is going like, I have to lean back now.
Yeah.
The only thing I want my brain to be doing is living in that moment with that character in that scene.
Wow.
And you have to figure out how to make that work for you.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get like compliments, and it's like all I've done is my due diligence.
Yeah.
So it's like to free myself to. You just want to do your due diligence to give yourself the chance to succeed.
I've noticed you use your body a lot.
In the show or right now?
Right now.
I do?
Yeah. You're very, you own your space.
Thanks. It's funny.
Like you own your space. Like there's like a radius around you.
I've always been animated, I guess.
You own it. That's interesting.
Cool, thanks.
Do you act physically? Like, that you've heard, I hear the term like physical comedy, or how much of your body acts as much as your face and, your voice do?
Depends on if you're doing a play or a TV show. I'm not really conscious of that stuff so much. I'm a little bit conscious on a set, on a film or TV, what lens they're using. So sometimes you've got the computer and the keyboard and this and that, and you'll find out, and you'll go to and I'll look to the camera operator and I'll look at him and I'll be like, how tired are you? And he's like, that means it's like right?
How tight are you?
How tight is the
lens?
lens?
I thought you said how tired are you?
Oh, no.
I was like, what? I don't understand.
No, how tight is the frame, the camera frame?
Gotcha.
So if it's a wide shot and they have your whole body,
right,
then you're down to your toes.
Right.
And I want to act with my toes, from the toes to my head on every take anyway, just because you want to tell the truth. But when you know that, you can you can sort of isolate your performance a little bit.
Yeah.
You can focus. It's just kind of craft of television acting that you learn more of. So when they do that, let's say there's a thing with the pen, you can release that continuity concern and then just put that pen in whatever you need because they're focused up much closer.
Right.
So you can give yourself a new way into the scene or something that's just about the face and about the thought and so forth. So it is good to be, what is it? Is it kinesthesia? Awareness? Body awareness? Am I using that word correctly?
Kinesthesia, I don't know what the awareness...
Kinesthesia.
How that would translate.
Something about body.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll look that up after. Along with Eliza Dushku's
Exactly.
movies.
Well, I don't want to keep you. I know you have your plans later with your family and everything. I don't know what time it is. I don't know how long we've been going. I should probably know that.
It's 7:30.
Oh, wow. We've been going an hour already.
Full hour?
Yeah.
I'm cool a little bit more.
Wow.
It's great talking to you.
Thank you. It's been awesome talking.
I don't mean to I want this to go longer. No. No, what, 5, 10, 15?
Well, okay, so if you close your eyes at night, or not if, but I'm sure you do every night. When you close your eyes at night, what do you envision what do you want to do?
Talk about the future?
Yeah.
Usually it's like try to get to sleep.
Aw.
When I close my eyes at night, it's like, Amir, stop thinking.
You have problems? Your mind races?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? What do you usually think about?
It's just hard to turn my brain off. It gets going. Especially on projects. You might have I got to do this, or just like anybody with anything, but it's hard to wind down from the day.
Yeah.
I'm sort of a night animal.
Yeah.
Anyway, mornings are not my strengths. Nights are. But back to your question, bigger question of the future. It's interesting. It evolves. I always dreamed. I remember when I was like, I just want to be a working actor. I was one. I'm like, I want to do a play in New York. I started doing plays in New York. And then really, and that's when I moved from New York to LA, was because I saw that I was like, the real dream is I always want to be on a series. I want to be on a comedy series. A comedy series or a cable series. I ended up on a drama network show. but that's even better. It's something even better than I expected in some ways.
Right. I mean, Jane Spader, come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you asked me about that. I'll talk about that too. So I always had dreamed to be on a series. I also had always thought that I wanted to direct as well, and I always thought that I would come into directing through like the actor's route to directing, like David Schwimmer, Laura Innes, Timothy Busfield. These were people on series, who then after a few seasons started directing episodes of their shows because they knew the crew, they knew all that. They got into the DGA that way, that's the Directors Guild, and then they started. Just now, I just wrapped an episode that Andrew McCarthy, the actor, was directing.
Oh.
I know, it was cool.
No kidding.
Oh, I was doing a scene with James Spader and Andrew McCarthy was directing.
That's so cool.
I just watched.
It's gotta feel like
I just watched Pretty in Pink with Aaron the other night, just because I was like,
cool.
I got to see these guys 30 years ago.
For real.
I know, and I asked him. I said, Andrew, which do you like more? And he's like, I haven't acted in a few years. I would if I got the right part, a good part. He says, it's different. They satisfy different things. He goes, I feel more anxiety when I'm acting, but I feel more stress when I'm directing. And I actually understood what we talk about. Because you kind of eat your own brain while you're working on a part and while you're shooting. But you only have to deliver said so many minutes in a day. It's like, wait, prepare, and then deliver.
Right, all that build up and...
Well, as directing, you're delivering all the time, but not in an anxious way. It's all about like making your day. Does they have what they need? So forth. It's like orchestrating an orchestra. So sometimes I find like directing actually... uses more of my brain and more useful parts of my brain than acting does. It's a different kind of fun and it's a different kind of high. So I really look forward to that. So going back, I remember thinking like, okay, if I want to direct, there is no guarantee you're going to get a series. So if your plan is to direct via a series, that means you have to get a pilot, it has to go to series, it has to go multiple seasons. That's multiple miracles. You can't control that. That's true. I said I can sit and wait for that and I can wait till the cows come home and, till who knows, or I can start directing now. So I literally curved my own cube, and I directed this one act in LA for no money.
Yeah.
Allocating time here or there where I could.
And this was
It was while I was directing that I booked Girls, booked that movie. While I was shooting my last episode of Girls, booked Blacklist. I actually think you never know exactly, but I think it's a direct line of me curving my own cube.
Right.
Of me like stepping at what I want to do without the direct benefit of it. And then I had no idea then, obviously, that Blacklist would turn into a series for me.
Yeah.
So now that I'm on a series and like, okay, well, I really do I want to direct. I also want to be in more comedies. So there's plenty more I want to do. And I guess when I'm older, I have a little bit of that now, but definitely there's so much more to go. I don't want to constantly be in a position to prove myself. I don't know if that ever ends as an artist or as an actor, but
where they just call you and offer you a role.
That happens a little bit now, with plays and some guest stars and stuff. But where you have some choice, where you're like, okay, you could direct this, you have this project, and you have this project, and it's like, what's right for me creatively, what's right for me and my family, what's right financially, when I can have some say. It's not just like prove and hustle, work, prove and hustle. So that's sort of a professional place that would be a sort of a luxury point, but that doesn't drive me. It's more actually what excites me that drives me. So directing cool projects, being on funny projects. I really like working with the best. So you asked what it's like. Well, I'll bring it back to James Spader. What's it like working with James? Like, I love working with the best. It's like Dwayne Wade just said this the other day when he was talking about the LeBron game. The Heat Cavs. He was like, I love competing against LeBron. We competed each other before we played together. We competed against each other. When you compete against the best, it brings out your best.
Right, it makes you the best.
Yeah. So when you act about a giant like James Spader or Jessica Lange, you best be on your game, and it brings out.
Do you ever just study them, like while they're doing a scene, and just watch what they're doing?
Well, if I'm in the scene with them, I have to be present with them. So I have to be present, like as the character for them. So can't really study them like
Are you ever
like
on
an animal in a cage.
When you're not on the scene? I mean,
I'll watch the episodes.
Okay.
I'll watch the episodes. And in scenes that I'm not in, or scenes that he's in, I do observe. I remember reading from the page and see how they cut it and what he did. Definitely, I think that happens when you love something. Like if you love a sport, or you love an actor, or you love or you love a song, you unconsciously learn the song. You're unconsciously studying.
You're dissecting it.
Don't you think unconsciously though? Like I'm not like, how did he do that? What did he do?
Absolutely.
No, I'm just observing. I'm like, oh.
You get absorbed in it.
Yeah.
It's true.
So when so you asked like, how did I say that line that's really messed up?
Yeah.
Just being present with James.
Yeah.
And like making sure I was like, we were
feeding off each other.
We were vibing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, same with doing that with Jessica Lange was intense. There was a take. We filmed my coverage first, and that means we filmed. The camera looked at me before it looked at her.
You were coming down the stairs in that scene, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, we filmed it a few pieces. Yeah, I came down the stairs. But when we were in that living room area,
I would totally be terrified of falling.
Walking,
right
talking,
down the
and
stairs.
falling. It's true. You have to practice your walk and your like all that
terrified.
stuff.
That'd be the part that'd scare you the most, because I'd be sure I was going to do it.
Oh my God, Aaron! I was running. Had to run in the Steven Seagal miniseries, and we did take. And I was like, oh, they were like, great, got to move it on. I was like, well, that was it. I just like learned my running path, and of course, Aaron's like, dude, what was that run? Why were you running that way? Why did you run like? And it's
actually, there's one scene in one of the episodes of Blacklist. It was maybe like your third or fourth episode. And I remember, like, it was an outdoor shoot, and, and you were running with a computer, I think, and I saw it, I was like, I wonder what he was thinking right before he started running. Like, was there any part of it that was like, all right, I've got to be this goofy guy running through this scene, right? Like, what were you thinking?
I know what scene you're talking about. My ex-girlfriend made fun of me for that run, too.
Really?
She was like, why were you running like that? Oh, my God. Look, it was early on the show. I was figuring out my role. My character was excited to figure out something.
He was so excited.
He wasn't an athlete like me. He was in drama club or whatever. He was probably in the chess club. Leave me alone.
So you've talked about how you and Aram are similar. How are you different?
Aram is probably a little less confident than I am. Sort of we dress a little bit different. And
Aram's shot and killed someone. You haven't.
That you know of.
That I know of.
No, just kidding. Yeah.
By the way, I was so excited for you.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet you anything Aram's going to come through and save the day. And
That's
he did.
like that.
It was awesome.
Back then I was supposed to. They were building me up, and I was gonna. There was always this thing about I may or may not be the mole, and then it turned out that I was framed to be the mole.
Yeah, I saw this one camera shot of you, and I'm like, they're totally setting that up so people think
I know what
he's
camera
the
shot you're
mole.
talking to. My mom called me. She's like, "Are you the mole?" I know what shot you're talking about. I know exactly what shot you're talking about. It's part 2 of Ansel Garrett.
Yep.
And it's editing. I just was bending down and doing my work.
Right.
That just shows you how you can tell a story. You can tell the audience what you want to tell them based on what they're.
That's true.
So
people who watch reality TV and think it's real, there's a lot of editing.
Oh my God, that's the most unreal.
It's terrible.
It's scripted too.
It's so entertaining.
Some of it is. It's true. I secretly love Big Brother.
I've met, you watched this last season?
I didn't see this last season, actually. I was crazy busy. I didn't.
Okay.
Don't tell me.
Well, no, I won't tell you anything about who won or not. But
did you interview him on the Cube?
I've met Zach Rance and Caleb, who are I just say they're 2 of the big players in this last season. But I've actually never seen it. But I have met them a couple times, yeah.
It's not the most quality television I've ever seen. It's addictive.
So addictive.
You didn't escape it.
Murray and Bunham, I think, are the guys who are the pair who created, I think, Real World and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, they were brilliant.
My sister still watches Survivor. 20 seasons.
Really?
21 seasons. She hasn't missed one.
Crazy.
I sometimes watch Survivor with her too. I've seen out of the 20 Survivors, I've seen 5 seasons.
I've seen probably 5 episodes. But it's an addictive show.
It still works.
Huge following.
What were we saying before? I
don't remember. We were talking about you running and the scene of...
I was telling you...
the differences between you and Aram.
Oh, right. Right after that, I was... hold on. I was being framed.
Oh, right.
I was going to be and they were building me up to be the mole.
Did you think you were going to end up being the mole?
I didn't know what.
See, by the way, there you go. You're saying you. They were going to frame me up to be the mole. You're referring to Aram. See, I told you.
But you said, did you think you were going to be the mole?
It's not important. We're talking about you.
Did you? I think I was following your syntax. Okay, those of you listening have the power to go back and rewind. See if I was set up to say me, or if I'm just a crazy person and don't realize it too accurately. Oh my God. I'm going to listen to this and be like, how am I doing that? Is Aram doing that?
That's Aram doing that.
And then during the course of that, somewhere that one producing director was like, keep him around or something. I don't know, but someone at the studio or the network was like, no, don't kill this guy off. Don't make him the mole. So they framed me to be the mole. Literally, I was supposed to be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, killed after 6, set up, killed after 7.
Wow. That's nerve-wracking. To be involved in an industry where it could be like any... I mean, I guess that's any industry technically,
not if each one is a gift.
That's true.
Not if each one is a bonus.
That's true.
If you think, okay, this is it, I had a great job, I had a great run, and they keep giving you a little bit more, and you keep showing up and being grateful.
Right, that's true.
There was a strategy involved. Mm-hmm. I knew my character was working, writers were responding to it, and so they were keeping me around. I had a function on the show, like a useful function, but via the computers and stuff, and also a little bit of like a humorous outlet on a serious show. They could use me in different ways, but my strategy was this is like I was like, I am I want to be high value, low cost.
Okay.
You can finish my scenes. I know my lines.
Right.
I'm easy to work with. I deliver
Right.
in a short amount of time. So if the show is trying to be cost effective, there's an economic aspect of it to acting on television too. You don't want to be like, hold on, I have a question. I want to think about. I'm not ready to do this, and they're all going to be like the 300 crew people are going to be like, get this guy out of here, and you won't have a reputation, and they won't want to work with you. You only can do that when you're a giant. Time is money. You can only do that if you're a person of a James Spacer nature, and he doesn't do that. He's smart as heck. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there was a business strategy I had to keep myself around, and then plus the character, plus timing, plus luck, plus good attitude. You know.
I'm going to spin back to something we talked about a little earlier, which was how you started you were signed to Blacklist before it started. Mm-hmm. Because when I watched
before it aired.
Right, before it aired. Because when I watched it, I was like the first couple. Oh, so you were signed before it aired, not necessarily before it. Okay, here's my question. Because the first couple episodes, that there's no Aram, but there are Aram type of characters, meaning there are a couple of computer people there who do a quick thing, who's like one or two. I've noticed there were like two other actors at least, one a girl, one guy, maybe more.
Asian girl,
had
right?
Like one, had like one line.
She comes back sometimes. I like her.
So my
who's the other guy?
I was thinking, I wasn't expecting that Aram was a character already established before the show started. It sounded like those first couple episodes, they're figuring out if they wanted to make a full-on character. You
were right. Mm-hmm. When you were like, when I auditioned and I did that improv, and I told you that the guy said name him like Aram, name him like Amir.
Yeah.
When they kept it, and then I got that script, where I was being framed from the mold, the Ansel Garrett part 1 and 2. All of a sudden, I saw the character is being written in a voice that sort of improvised, the one that I improvised in, and they were kind of writing towards my sort of my natural rhythms. That's why I was saying this character feels most similar to me. It's different. He's different.
Yeah.
But rhythmically and neurotically and energetically and funly and focused and obsessed and wants to do good, and that stuff is all aligned. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they, like I said with television, like we were talking about earlier about, the relationship.
Yeah.
Hopefully good showrunners and good writers, they pay attention to what's working on their show and what's not, what they respond to, what the audiences respond to, what tests well. Right. So they see, okay, this is working, so let's give a little bit more. Oh, it's working some more, let's give a little bit more. You know what, people aren't caring as much about this character, or they don't care as much about that storyline, so let's end that sooner than that'll be 6 episodes. Let's finish that in 2 episodes. Oh, this character. So I think that started happening, and they also realized they needed a function. They needed a central computer, a central. There was a usefulness to my role. Yeah. That's also why the role wasn't much, and I actually didn't want to audition for it because it was very little, and it was a drama. It was little. It was in New York, but I was there shooting girls. I said, Amir, it's an opportunity. That casting office had been good to me before.
Yeah.
So I went because of the casting office. I wanted to honor them because they had honored me.
Yeah.
Like professional kind of like graciousness, if you will.
Yeah.
And also, it was an FBI show, and this was an FBI character. So I remember like SVU, I was like...
Is Blacklist considered a procedural?
It's a hybrid. It's considered a serialized. Okay. It's got the serialized element as well as the procedural element. So it's kind of a hybrid.
Mm-hmm. So I know a little bit of lingo.
You do?
That's about it.
From watching all the shows in your cube.
Exactly.
So, what was I saying?
I don't know.
Before procedural, serialized. What were we saying?
We got off on a tangent.
So many tangents.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember.
I totally lost track. I'm sorry.
Who cares? I don't care. What was it?
Oh my gosh.
Must not have been important.
It was. Everything you say is important.
Shut up.
When do you start shooting again?
After the holiday break.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I wanted to ask you too. So the scene where the episode where they do invade the black site and
that's from season 1.
Mm-hmm, and you come in, and when you were reading that script, and that's the first time Aram really breaks out and does something above and beyond, his his byline kind of the character. How exciting was that for you
It
to?
was exactly what we were. When I got that script, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm not just giving computer information.
Yeah.
And there were also some good jokes in that script. Like, some good like witticisms coming out of these high stakes situations. And Joe Carnahan was coming direct, and he directed the pilot. That's when like I started becoming sort of part of also the other cast members started saying, "Oh, hey man," like they started seeing that I was around, that I might be around. They started treating me a little bit more like
One of
regular. They were all great, always.
Yeah.
But there's a different vibe when they start saying that you're gonna. Oh, he's gonna be here for a while, as opposed to you're just a one episode.
Of course.
When you're in one episode, you're at the service of like sort of the main players. There's the series regulars, the director, the writer, and when you're a heavy recurring, major recurring, or you're a series regular, you're within that service.
Of course.
So it's great. It gives you some sort of confidence and freedom,
Right.
to do what you kind of want to do. But I kind of had that approach when I was guesting. I was always like very respectful of what show I'm on and whose playground I was in, but still always I was like I'm coming to this table with with as much thought and character as I can bring.
Right, you fully belong now.
But not you. Yeah, it's a funny thing. You have to know how to like command your scene, but not scene steal.
Right.
It's not. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You have to be the right
to tell the story,
voice.
but not make a meal of it.
Right.
And believe me, if you do a good job, you do a good job in harmony. Exactly. If you do a good job in harmony, that actually stands out.
Yeah.
And they, hopefully they keep you around.
That's true.
I think it was sort of connected to what we were saying before.
Probably.
I can go on and on about it. I'm sorry.
It's been awesome talking to you. Are you kidding me? It's great connecting with you again, too. But, yeah, I don't want to hold you up. I really want to see this yearbook picture, too.
Oh, which yearbook picture? Which year?
I don't know. I guess your senior, my junior?
My senior, your junior?
Yeah.
I have it.
Awesome.
I was reading it's funny, I just came home and I was reading.
I was reading your quote, Jimmy. You started sounding super creepy when you said that.
I did?
You're looking
That's why I get dramas.
I was reading.
I get hired for dramas. I was reading your...
Ooh!
There was a time.
You should start introducing movies. Do you ever want to do voiceover work?
I do it a little bit here and there.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's actually a very competitive world.
That's my dream. I would love to do voiceover work.
There's I've been doing it a little bit, but those movie trailer guys.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like
give me a movie trailer.
3 or 4. No, those guys corner the market.
I know, but do it. It sounded awesome. Do it.
I am not going to do it. I'm not a monkey who performs on command.
Except you just did.
Because I am a ham. And you're pushing an actor's buttons. What am I doing on your podcast?
I don't know.
You fool.
But I like it.
What I was going to say was I was reading when you sign each other's yearbooks?
Yeah.
I found them just the other night when I got home and I couldn't sleep and I like opened the drawer next to me. I found my yearbooks and I was reading all the things that people were saying and so forth.
Aww.
And it's so, yeah.
It's fun to go down memory.
It's really like, yeah. And there was a couple people that were like, I loved you in Birdie, Bye Bye Birdie, or I loved you in, Guys and Dolls, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they're like, I look forward to seeing you on that. And I was like, oh my God.
That's got to be such a mind trip.
Yeah, it was like, we don't, yeah. There's things that people said, and I was like, we change, but we evolve, but we don't change.
Right.
Like,
how long are you in town when you go home? Or go home, but
I go back after the break, after January. The episode continues January, I don't know, 3rd, 4th? Yeah. January 3rd or 4th, but I might not be shooting, so I might not be shooting until the following week, so I might have a few more days. Because
there were, I think, 20 episodes in the first season, which seems like a lot. Is that
22.
more than 22?
I was in 18 of the 22.
Is that more than usual? It seems like a lot.
It's for network. No, network shows are usually anywhere between I think 20 and 24.
Okay.
Usually 22.
Okay.
Usually 22 or 23 or 24. Cable is anywhere between 8 and 10
Maybe
and 12.
That's right.
Which is why they're, there's different. They have more time.
Right.
Blacklist has to churn it out.
Well, it does a good job. It's a great show.
It's fun, right?
It's a really good show.
It's addictive.
Yeah, it is.
Just you wait.
Really good characters.
Just you wait.
Woo!
good stuff after the Super Bowl.
I'm excited.
And then after the Super Bowl, then we move to Thursdays where we compete with Scandal. I can see by your face that you watch that show too.
I don't, but I've been encouraged by so many people to watch it. In fact, I think my dad was just telling me again yesterday.
Does your dad watch Blacklist?
No.
He watches Scandal, but you watch Blacklist. What does Jerry watch?
He watches both, actually. Yeah, he's the independent.
Okay, so you have to ask Jerry. If Blacklist and Scandal were on at the same time, ask him which one would he want to watch live, and which one would he want to DVR and watch playback.
That's a good question, and here's the tricky thing, right?
Yeah.
I think if I were to get into my brother's head, he would like Scandal to watch it live because he would be for that show. I think he would relate to the tensity of wondering what's going to happen. But then at the same time, I think he might want to watch you first because it's you.
Oh, that's nice.
That's true.
That's biased.
No, this is truth though.
They're both shows with like secrets, and you don't want to like.
Yeah.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
I have a friend on Scandal, so it's like I can't believe we're like going head to head with them.
Oh, that's so funny. Who's your friend on Scandal?
Katie Lowe. She plays Quinn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. Sometimes my favorite shows are the ones I don't want to watch live. Because I want to watch either multiple in a row and just go like that, a marathon, or because I just hate the commercials. Even though I know I'm technically watching it later than I would have if I watched it live, I don't want to deal with the commercials. I just want to skip right through them.
Sometimes with like award shows and like telecasts and stuff or sporting events. Sporting events, it's hard because you want to see it. But we'll wait. My sister will wait 20 or 30 minutes till it starts.
Just so she can fast forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the end, you're watching it live, and then
absolutely
you can skip the commercials and so forth.
I get it.
I don't think the advertisers want to hear that.
It's gotta know.
I know.
Come on. All right, Amir.
Anything else?
Well, no. I mean, we can definitely want to do this another time. But I know you guys have.
I'm going to the movies with Mama.
But yeah. Can I ask you for one last thing?
Sure.
Can you sign off my podcast?
How would I do that?
Just say this is Amir Arison with Curve the Cube.
This is Amir Arison with Curve the Cube. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next time for more ridiculousness.
How's that?
That was awesome. High five.
No, okay, a regular one. So I'll give you a choice. All right, now. Hey, this is Amir Arison. When you've been watching Curve the Cube. No, that was terrible.
First of all, it's terrible because no one watches Curve the Cube.
Okay. Thanks for listening to Curve the Cube. This is Amir Arison. Cheers. Oh my God, now they're all so stupid they all sound so stupid now.
And I'm keeping all three.
Oh God.
That was awesome. Congratulations to you.
All right.
You have officially signed off a podcast, my friend. Thank you, Amir.
You have successfully curved the cube.